I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Who are the most well-written characters in the Arkham games? There's a lot of characters in the Arkham games because they're video games. In video games, you can add way more characters and give them way more depth than, say, a movie. But which ones are the most well-written, the most memorable characters that arguably are just better written than others? A very subjective video, but for this video, I'm going to go based off how much story we saw for the characters in the Arkham games on screen, and I'm basing it off that because, for example, Nightwing, I think Nightwing is a perfectly written character here based off his personality, but spoiler, he's not on the list because he's not in the games as much. He only has like a one side mission in Arkham Knight, right? And because of that, he's not one of the most perfectly written characters, if that makes sense. They just need more screen time. So let's get started with characters I think are the best written in the Arkham games. Subscribe please, watch my streams as well. I'm trying to pop off on that low key, and let's move on. Let's get the forefront character out of the way. I think Arkham Batman is a damn near perfect, if not just straight up perfect, version of the character outside the comics. Now, pretense for this video, some people might disagree that Arkham Batman is a perfectly written version of the character, and that point can be applied to everyone here. That's okay, I don't care, but listen to what I have to say, please. When you break down a version of Batman, some of the most important elements to have of the character in a nutshell is being a master detective, a master combatant. Those are obvious traits, but other traits of Batman I find really important is being able to adapt and learn quickly to survive, showing how truly powerful he is to keep up with the godlike beings of the DC universe, his family, and how he raises them, his stealth, his eidetic memory. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not gonna lie, I googled these last few, but all these are traits apply to Arkham Batman, more or less, minus lockpicking, I guess. So let's break some of these down. As a detective, Arkham Batman is shown to be an expert level detective in the Arkham games. It was really focused on in Batman Arkham Origins, a perfect example being the scene where you investigate the Lacey Towers case. Batman was saying things like, this guy's feet were atop of the soot of the fire, or the white shoe polish suggested a different angle, etc. His knowledge on these things, even at an early career point, was unmatched. And not only that, his knowledge is just infinite. Think about it. Remember in Arkham Knight when you're scanning the pig victims around and Batman recognized insignias that are like very obscure, like the Bloodhaven 6 gang here on this victim, or how he scanned this bullet inside this victim and realized it's a casing that's used with a hunting rifle that hasn't been manufactured in over a decade? Like, how do you know that? He just knows so many things. That's a very creative way of showing why Batman is a master detective and above average. Things like the Lacey Towers case, I can see the above average detective figuring that stuff out, but then Batman's knowledge in this specific mission with Pig shows why he might just be unmatched. It also shows how amazing his memory is as well, another one of his expert traits. There's many detective examples like that in the games, from small to big. His technology also helps him too, like the detective reconstruction technique stuff. Sure, but even without that, he'd still be able to solve these cases. And the technology arguably is just another thing as to why he's one of the best detectives. I don't think it's a negative trait that he has a resource that others don't. Okay, so his detective skills are great. What about his combat? Do I need to even talk about Arkham Batman's combat?
I'll kill you.
I will, just in case you've never played the games before. In every game, Arkham Batman takes down hordes of enemies without breaking a sweat. the entire night. He wanted Ra's al Ghul's blood, he tracked him down, went to his territory, kicked his ass. Mind you, a guy who has had centuries of fighting experience, steals his blood, and just leaves. This guy takes multiple punches from a roided up Bane, flies through a wall, and gets up and still beats him, and then he just pulls him up like it's nothing? What? He overpowers people like Killer Croc too. He beat Slade in his early years easily. There's so many examples, but the fact of the matter is that Arkham Batman is straight up overpowered. There's some suspension of disbelief here, realistically. Like, how did Arkham Batman not have any real injuries the entire night, right? Yeah, he gets cuts and bruises, but that's about it. It's impressive. There wasn't ever really a physical challenge for Batman in any of these games. Not really. I mean, you know, there's Arkham Origins Bane, that kind of thing, or Joker tossing around in Arkham Asylum, but there was never a moment in these games where I felt like Arkham Batman was overpowered physically, like he couldn't win a fight. He beat everybody basically, easily at that. And this is important because you can see this Batman joining the Justice League. The other heroes do exist in the Arkhamverse. I can see this Batman joining up with them because of how powerful he is. You can't say the same for every Batman, right? So I'm glad they made him OP here for that reason. Another trait I feel like doesn't get talked about enough though with Batman that I think is important is his humor. Batman in general has a sense of humor. He's funny. He's not like saying outright jokes or anything, but he has dry humor. He's kind of a sarcastic asshole at times. Arkham Batman, thankfully, nails that. There's a lot of examples where he goes along with a joke or makes one to himself in front of his enemies. It's important because Batman is shown to have humor in other versions, amazing versions at that, which makes Batman feel not one-dimensional. He's not robotic or static. It's cool, like he is comfortable and enjoys his job, so to speak. So I'm glad that trait's here. Now, there's one element of Batman that I think is kind of lacking in the Arkham games. Kind of. And it's the only real concern, and that is his empathy and compassion for not only his allies, but also his villains. Now, it's only a concern because I don't think it's non-existent. It's implied and a bit shown at times, but not to a degree I would expect. For context, a perfect example of this is in the animated series Batman show. There's a lot of memorable episodes in that legendary show, one of the reasons being that Batman actually tried to help his villains. He realizes they are twisted like he is, and he gets that, and even though he has to stop them, he checks up on them and tries to make them feel better. He comforts them. He does what he can to make them have another chance at life if he can help it. Arkham Batman, on the other hand, is very brutal. He beats them up and doesn't really look back at times, which is badass, but that's an element of Batman I value and I think adds to his character, him being more compassionate for his villains. With that being said, does Arkham Batman just not have this trait at all? No, he does. An example is Mr. Freeze. He helps Mr. Freeze in like every game Freeze is in, and even lets him and Nora go to spend their final days together in peace. Batman acknowledges that Killer Croc is not a monster and a victim of circumstance, as shown in the Killer Croc side mission in Arkham Knight. He views Croc as a human, not a monster. In regards to the Bat family, Arkham Batman is shown to be kind of standoffish towards them, particularly to Robin. Can be argued for the other members as well. Arkham Batman just has a more distant personality compared to maybe other Batman versions. That being said, I think his relationship and communication with the Bat family is done well, and he shows compassion and care for them. Like with Nightwing, how he entrusts Nightwing with Bloodhaven and shows him care and respect, even saying he only works with the best, referring to Dick Grayson himself. With Robin, even though he screwed Robin over in Arkham Knight, he still clearly showed guilt and apologized to Tim, and with Jason Todd, he did the same when he found out Jason was alive. With Oracle, it's clear she loves working with Bruce and they consider each other family. And Alfred is Alfred, enough said. Arkham Batman clearly shows care and respect and acts as a positive figure in their lives, and it reflects because all the Bat family members here clearly show that same level of respect for him. Maybe not Jason Todd, but you know, that's Jason Todd. They all clearly work with him and help him, respect him, joke around with him. There's no animosity here, which I think is perfect. It just isn't shown often, which I wish it was, but it's heavily implied, which is good. Arkham Batman's compassion is also shown a bit more in the comic books as well. The comics being canon or not is a whole other topic, but it's still Arkham Batman. And in the Arkham Origins prequel comics, it shows him comforting a traumatized child. This would have been really amazing to see in game. Remember when Batman comforted a dying Ace in the Justice League cartoon? Imagine that here, dude. It would be so cool. So while the empathetic Batman isn't shown too much, it's still somewhat present, which is good. It's really shown in Arkham Shadow, where Batman adopts Dick Grayson. You can see his compassion here the best, I would say, out of all the games, which is really cool. So yes, he does show it, just not as often as to make it a clear trait for him when people look back on Arkham Batman. Aside from that, Arkham Batman here has all the small traits that make a good Batman. For example, intimidation. How many interrogation scenes do we get with Batman, right? Or how people get scared around him in Predator section? He easily intimidates. He has amazing technology. He's voiced by Kevin Conroy for the most part, which is the GOAT. Design-wise, he's damn near perfect. Arkham City's suit is so perfect. I think I've said enough about Arkham Batman. He's a perfect version of the character, I would say. Little to no flaws, but you let me know what you think. I'm curious to see if someone doesn't like Arkham Batman. Here's one I don't think people would expect to be on the list, but I think is well written. Mad Hatter. For a character to be on this list, I try to find one that has a lot of screen time in the games as well as being well written, like I mentioned in the beginning. I think Mad Hatter fits both these categories and really is just a darker, more inspired version of the one from the animated series. Now, Mad Hatter is a character I wanted to add here because he houses some of the most downright disgusting and dark implications that you can't find in other areas of the Arkham games. As a character, Mad Hatter is a master of mind control and has a high intelligence. He's an expert inventor as well as strategist. On top of all of that, Mad Hatter has some of the more disgusting traits which involve women, which is heavily implied in the games. In Arkham City, we can see how he's a genius, like how he designed a fake cure to be able to subdue Batman, or how he made a book to be able to put Batman in some Mad Hatter world in Arkham Knight. He's an amazing strategist as well. The way he was able to kidnap the cops and hide them in different areas of Gotham City. How did he get this police car to the lighthouse? Somebody tell me, because I don't know. And his mind controlling is obviously showed in the forefront. How he has a bunch of lackeys helping him in City, Origins. He almost gets Batman too. His abilities, coupled with his amazing personality of the whole Alice in Wonderland bit, but on a psychopathic level, is done excellently here across the 3 games he is in. These 3 games perfectly encapsulate Mad Hatter and how he's irredeemable, and it gives him a lot of screen time too. Now, one of the bigger reasons I put Hatter on this list is that they show one of the more disgusting traits of all the villains to Mad Hatter. In the Arkham Origins mission, the Alice he abducts, just look at what she says here.
Don't worry, you're safe now. The police are on their way. Everything's going to be all right.
No, it's not.
The implications are clear as to what he may have done to her, especially when you have a vast knowledge of Mad Hatter from the comics and what he does to his victims. As gross as it is, Mad Hatter is one of the villains I think is written well because he's not censored too much. He's done unspeakable things here, and none of his traits deviate from the comics or anything to make him more PG, if that makes sense. Hatter's disgusting and dark elements are present in these games. He's written to be very consistent, isn't super censored in terms of how disgusting he can be, and his abilities are showcased excellently along with his personality. I don't know, could you say the same for other villains in these games? Sure, but Mad Hatter is one that stuck out to me, which is why he's here. Let's move on though. Catwoman, Selina Kyle. I think Catwoman here is written to be a very excellent portrayal of the character. I think Catwoman in these games are a very faithful interpretation of the character and has a lot of story here to showcase why she is one of the better written characters. So Selina Kyle, what are some of Catwoman's best traits for a general great version of the character? First of all, Catwoman's very clever and resourceful. She uses her looks and seduction to lure people into doing what she wants. She's clever in how she's able to escape from traps, such as the one with Two-Face, and she's a very sneaky, speedy, and professional thief. Being able to steal from the most secure places shows how intelligent and smart she can be. On top of all of that, a really important, interesting element to her is her morals and how they're tested with her. How she will steal, but she'll stop to save an innocent person, or even Batman as shown in Arkham City where she sacrificed her loot to do so. So does Catwoman show these traits in the Arkham games? Yes, she does. In Arkham City, she shows off her seductiveness in the scenes with Two-Face and Batman. On top of that, she can show how clever she can be, how she escaped from Two-Face's grasp, even though Two-Face almost still killed her, but that's besides the point. She's also very fast and very nimble, so she was able to take down Two-Face and his army by herself towards the end of the game. So combat-wise, Catwoman in the Arkham games is seemingly on par with Batman in his universe, which is crazy. Speed is also something that's clear with the character, especially in gameplay. You can see how fast she can move. Her moral ambiguity trait is also very well shown. Catwoman, under all that exterior where she acts badass, she's actually a very caring person, especially to the people close to her. There's clear moments like in Arkham City, she lost the loot from the vault in order to save Batman. In Arkham Knight, she came back to help Batman defeat Riddler and kissed him and gave him some closure between them in that game. But aside from that, there's also Holly, one of her classic friends. In her audio tapes in Arkham City, she yells at Hugo to not kill her in their audio tape. Her moral ambiguity is shown there pretty well. Her seduction and personality are at an all-time high, and she's physically very capable in the games. A clever, perfectly written version of the character, honestly. I think Catwoman was amazing here. Let me know what you think. Joker. I think in the Arkham games, Joker is written perfectly. I purposely put Joker like in the middle of the video to hopefully piss someone off, because he feels like a character you'd put at the end, right? Nope, he's in the middle after Catwoman. So funny, I guess. Not really. Anyway, the Joker. What makes a Joker in general a very interesting character? Joker in a nutshell is theatrical to the max, downright pure evil, very intelligent, manipulative, crafty, and above all else, has an obsession with the Dark Knight, Batman, Bats, the greatest detective, whatever. Anyways, does the Arkham Joker have all of these things? Yes. The Joker in the Arkham games probably has the most screen time besides Batman. He has to, right? He has so much story and character here. Honestly, a trilogy is just about these two at the end of the day, and the Joker here was very well done. Where do I start? Is the Joker intelligent in the Arkham games? Clearly, without a doubt, he was a genius. How he managed to take over the asylum, how he lured Batman to helping him in Arkham City, how he was able to easily take over Blackgate, and how he almost took over Batman's mind even in death. These things a normal person would never be able to do, and Joker does it like every other week in Gotham. He was insanely intelligent and crafty, and he was theatrical during all of this. Yes, he built a monument at the Asylum finale, he had the whole funhouse section at Arkham City, and in Arkham Origins at the hotel. Joker had an image for everything, and he used that to his advantage too, making those situations dangerous for Batman. Was Joker pure evil in the games? Oh yeah. There's a lot of crimes that Arkham Joker commits that is hidden between the cracks in the Arkham games that you could easily miss, such as cannibalism. He also killed a bunch of people trying to get baptized, which is implied to be kids, by the way. How he killed kids at a school, and the list goes on. Completely horrid and unspeakable crimes. There is no redeeming of Joker here. If that doesn't define pure evil, I don't know what you want me to tell you. He was also very manipulative too. Harley Quinzel is a perfect example in how he tricked her into thinking he was her friend, and he used that to get what he wants. On top of all of this, he was very crafty. He thought on the spot. He survived as long as he did. And of course, I think his obsession with Batman was written perfectly. Arkham Origins had a fantastic story that explained how the Joker went from wanting Batman dead to wanting him alive and playing their game forever. Arkham City had Joker singing a song called Only You, which was for Batman. And at the end of Arkham Knight, you can see how he needed Batman. The culmination of all these things and it being put into well-written stories with Mark Hamill being the voice actor gives you the impression that, like, Arkham Joker is near perfect. I mean, you tell me, what was wrong with the character? He's ripped straight from the comics with no deviations whatsoever, other than the fact that he dies, I guess. But as a character, he was done basically perfectly, I would say. The thing was that Joker had a pretty interesting storyline across 3 games with the Titan disease and a good conclusion between him and Batman in Arkham Knight. His dialogue was pretty good, some of it giving you a sense of why he is the way he is, like at the end of Arkham Origins. They did a good job balancing that, the chaos-inducing Joker with the reasons given as to why he is that way. All the stories gave him a pretty good ending. Arkham Asylum gave him that classic Batman stops Joker bit, Arkham City with his death that sparked one of the most insane endings ever, Arkham Origins with a very powerful origin between the two, and Arkham Knight had a very satisfying conclusion between them. Joker was very well written in each game, showcased why he was the way he was, and overall, excellently portrayed. Let me know what you think. Riddler. Yes, Riddler was very annoying, but also arguably perfectly written. Now, the Riddler as a character is one that's very narcissistic. Batman sums it up perfectly here.
What's Eddie's problem?
Fanatic narcissism, egocentrism, and megalomania, crossed with severe obsessive compulsion.
Thanks.
Don't mention it.
Ain't never gonna be shit. Your mama ain't never. Your mama wasn't shit. Your daddy wasn't shit. You think you gonna be some shit?
Riddler cannot be one-upped. He can't be beaten. It's impossible, according to him. It's dangerously impossible for him because he will do whatever it takes to win at whatever is needed to win. The Riddler in these games, he's perfectly written to be just that. And the coolest thing is that in each game, he gets progressively crazier. In Arkham Asylum, he just leaves riddles on the island and then gets caught. It's pretty simple. But in Arkham City, he leaves riddles, but this time has hostages that will die if Batman doesn't succeed in stopping him. And in Arkham Knight, he straight up builds Saw-level death traps and kidnaps a woman Batman loves and threatens to kill her if Batman doesn't do what he wants. You see him go crazier and crazier throughout each game, and you see that the riddles aren't just a gag, but a way of showing he's better than everybody else. On top of all of that, Riddler gets some pretty good characterization on top of all of that. One particular thing is how his father abused him. He reveals how his father hit him in his childhood in his Arkham Asylum audio tapes, and he even almost calls Batman father due to Batman constantly beating Riddler physically. So Riddler has characterization here hidden between the cracks, and I think it's really well done. It shows why he is the way he is, and he gets a pretty good story arc across the Rocksteady trilogy. He got crazier and crazier, more obsessed with beating Batman at his own game, and he was characterized really well with his mannerisms and the way he spoke. It was a very interesting way of the character being portrayed, and I think because of those things, Riddler was a damn near perfectly written villain. Let me know what you think about this one. Mr. Freeze. Victor Von Freeze is one of the best written villains in the entire series. And he had a complete story that's not the Joker's, and an excellent one at that. They did not miss with this guy. A lot of the villains in the Arkham games are good, but they have assumed origins that we just have to assume, I guess. Like Penguin, Firefly, those are great villains, but we never see their entire story. Mr. Freeze, we do. Now, what makes Mr. Freeze a great character? It's simple, really. He'll do whatever it takes to save his dying wife. He loves his wife. He'll become a giant evil icebox and do whatever it takes to save her. The Arkham games gave us that entire story, essentially. To start in Arkham Origins, the Cold Cold Heart DLC was like an amazing DLC that gave the limelight and origin story to Mr. Freeze. It felt like an episode of the Arkham animated series, if that was a thing, right? Mr. Freeze is attacking people, goes after Boyle, doing what he thinks is best to save his wife Nora, who Boyle tricked him into thinking he would help him with her condition. He says in that DLC that nothing matters to him except his Nora, which you can feel in that DLC. And you see more of it in Arkham City. He attacks Batman and tells him to go find his wife, which was a weird plotline, I'd say, but still, you still feel that his wife matters to him more than anything else. And in Arkham Knight, the side mission was one of, if not the best, and it really went all out on how sad their story is. When you find Nora and she tells you she was aware the entire time being cooped up in that case, man, the emotions hit different. How she cries and tells Victor to let her die, basically, and how she spends her final days together with Victor, with the music swelling up and everything. It was a very excellent send-off to Mr. Freeze and Nora that couldn't have gotten better, honestly. Mr. Freeze couldn't save his wife, but instead of letting her die, he let her live, which was very sweet. And the greatest thing about all of this is how Batman understands Mr. Freeze, and he tries to help Victor the best he can. They had their fights, and Batman had to stop him because of all the crimes he did commit, but he helps Victor in every situation in every game he's in. He stops Boyle and saves Nora, he finds Nora in Arkham City, and finds her in Arkham Knight. Mr. Freeze and Batman's relationship is very well done here. They fight, they're enemies, but they also understand and help each other. Mr. Freeze, when it boils down to him, he's someone that tries to help his wife and will stop at nothing to accomplish that. Simple story, yet so effective, and the Arkham games took that and gave us such an emotional driven story with it. And Mr. Freeze was really well written throughout the entire thing. Makes you wish all villains had something like this, but if anyone had to get it, I'm glad it was Mr. Freeze. And for the final one for this video, Bane. Not Rocksteady's dumbass Bane, the character sucked there, but Arkham Origins Bane. Just Arkham Origins. Now I know, I said in the beginning that I based it on how long the characters had to get a well-developed story throughout each game, and Arkham Origins Bane is only in Arkham Origins, right? Only one game, but he's an exception. Outside the comics, Origins Bane might just be the best Bane ever put on screen, on a video game, on a movie, whatever. It deserves that exception. Now, what makes Bane a really good Batman villain? Not only is it the brawn, like how physically powerful he is, but his intellect and how it matches Batman. Bane is not a dumb brute. He's a tactical genius that, like I said, matches the Dark Knight. He's the all-in-one package and makes you realize that if he didn't have an addiction to venom, he might have ended up killing Batman. His commanding presence with those two things is outstanding. Most villains have one or the other. Bane has it all. In Arkham Origins, you can see how physically powerful he is. There's no doubt about that. But the really interesting part of Bane here is how smart he is. He knew Batman was coming after Joker, so he stayed at the hotel to get him. He knew Bruce was Batman based on the same lines Batman and Bruce Wayne said. That was a good way of showing how smart he could be. He found the Batcave. He destroyed it. He attacked Alfred and tried to mentally torment Bruce. It's so simple in a way, like there's not much else to say really, but the game perfectly portrays the Bane from the comics here. Other versions of Bane outside the comics don't really have this. He was able to make Batman question if what he was doing is the right thing. He was able to kind of break the Batman here. He was really smart, really strong, tactically aware, wasn't afraid of the Joker. It makes you appreciate that he was one of the best villains of all time in the Arkham games. It makes you forgive his very poor portrayal in the other Rocksteady games. And he was written well, especially at the end, to make him more like Rocksteady's counterpart. Look at Clown Puncher's video for a full in-depth breakdown of the character. I'll link that in the description. But everything Arkham Origins did was a love letter to Bane fans. To me, it was his best portrayal, and it gave him the spotlight he deserved. Really short synopsis for Bane for me, I think, but I think it goes without saying that Arkham Origins Bane was perfectly written. And that's it for all the best written characters in the Arkham games. Maybe I can make a part 2. I don't know if there's enough, but you let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get the numbers up. Please watch my streams if you want to kill time. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and peace.